I've gotten really used to saying I told you so since I started covering Harry and Meghan, and today is no different. For anyone doubting Harry and Meghan, whether that's in business, in philanthropy, in civic duty, but specifically with their relationship with Netflix, despite Netflix affirming how much they enjoy working with Harry and Meghan over and over again, this is for you. Today, details have been announced about Harry and Meghan's next deal with Netflix, and we've got the deets, so let's get into it. Thank you for clicking on my video, and if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be discussing Harry and Meghan's new deal with Netflix, and this we can believe because it came straight from Harry and Meghan, as do all truthful things. So today, we're going to be reading an article in The Wrap as well as Harper's Bazaar to get the details on the next deal with Netflix, with both Harry and Meghan and Netflix releasing statements with information. But before we get into that, if you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and please don't forget to share so that more people can find us. Today, we'll be getting this update from an article in The Wrap. I rarely use this website. However, they just had the most information, and I felt like it was more relevant than the other articles. So the title of this article is Netflix Continues Partnership with Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, through new first look deal. Instead of the streamer paying for the exclusive rights to Archewell Productions, this new arrangement is a first look deal. This is written by Kayla Cobb. Netflix is continuing to bet on Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. The streamer announced a multi-year first-look deal with Archewell Productions on Monday, which means Netflix gets first dibs on any TV or film projects the company makes before any other network or streamer. Archewell Productions made its first deal with Netflix in 2020. That led to the documentaries and reality series Polo, With Love Meghan, Heart of Invictus, Harry and Meghan, and Live to Lead. The Duchess of Sussex also partnered with Netflix on the lifestyle brand As Ever as part of that original deal. Quote, Harry and Meghan debuted in late 2022 and scored 23.4 million views in its first 4 days. Let that sink in. We talked about this in real time, but that was insane, making it the most viewed Netflix documentary ever for that time frame. It currently ranks as Netflix's 5th most popular documentary series of all time. With Love Meghan scored 5.3 million views in the first half of 2025, making it Netflix's most watched culinary show since its release. Though the deal is an extension of the partnership between the streamer and this production company, according to the New York Times, it seems to be a scaled-back investment on Netflix's part, and we're going to get into why that may be. This is actually beneficial to Harry and Meghan, or should I say Archewell Productions and Netflix, to go this route for their second deal, and we'll get into that later. As part of the streamer's original deal with Archewell Productions, Netflix paid the company for the exclusive rights to all its content. That's different than this newly announced first look deal, which gives Netflix the option to pass on projects, but it also gives Archewell Productions the option to shop around their content, which could lead to bigger deals for the things that they're producing. Quote, we're proud to extend our partnership with Netflix and expand our work together to include the As Ever brand, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex said in a statement to press. My husband and I feel inspired by our partners who work closely with us and our Archewell Productions team to create thoughtful content across genres that resonates globally and celebrates our shared vision. Harry and Meghan are influential voices whose stories resonate with audiences everywhere. The response to their work speaks for itself. Harry and Meghan gave viewers an intimate look into their lives and quickly became one of our most watched documentary series, Bella Baharia, Netflix's chief content officer, said. More recently, fans have been inspired by With Love Meghan, with products from the new As Ever line consistently selling out in record time. We're excited to continue our partnership with Archewell Productions and to entertain our members together. Archewell Productions has several projects coming to Netflix in the next coming months, including season 2 of With Love Meghan, as well as a With Love holiday special that will debut in December. I am so excited for that. The company is also adapting Carley Fortune's novel, Meet Me at the Lake, as a romance movie and will release the documentary short, Masaka Kids, A Rhythm Within. That project comes from Campfire Studios in association with Wontanara Productions. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I apologize if I'm not, and will be directed by David Vieira Lopez and Moses Bwayo. Thank you so much for watching the Sharion Sade YouTube channel. I appreciate you watching my content. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video by hitting the thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button. And don't forget to comment along the way. If you feel so inclined, please don't forget to share so that more people can find us. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Now let's get back to the video. I also wanted to talk about a few of the advantages to Archewell Productions going into a first look deal with Netflix on this next deal rather than an exclusive rights deal like they had initially. Now, these are just a few things that jumped out at me, but again, I'm not in the business, so there are likely many, many more advantages, but these are just the ones that jumped out at me. So a first look deal will give Archewell Productions the option to shop around projects in the event that Netflix passes on it, and this will enable them to score more lucrative deals or find a more well-suited studio or streamer to produce each of their projects. And since Archewell Productions produce very different projects, their projects vary in genre and style and audiences, this is actually pretty empowering for them. So for example, Meet Me at the Lake. While we don't know much information about the Netflix adaptation of Meet Me at the Lake by Archewell Productions, we do know that the book that it's based on is a contemporary romance novel. Typically, Netflix nails it with romantic and rom-com movies, and we also know Archewell Productions has produced incredible content that varies in genre, and it still resonates with audiences. So with the two coming together to produce this movie, it makes complete sense, and it'll more than likely be an insanely popular project on Netflix as it aligns with their audience. However, take something like Live to Lead, for example. It did a wonderful job on Netflix, and it was a very popular docuseries. However, if it were a new show and they decided to shop that around in the events that Netflix passed on it, then it would likely soar on a streamer like Disney Plus, which just acquired Hulu and their audience, or a Paramount Plus, which has audiences that are more inclined to enjoy content surrounding current events and or news. Again, this is just an example of how two different types of content in different genres may resonate differently with different audiences on other streamers. However, for Live to Lead specifically, Netflix owns the exclusive rights to Live to Lead as it was part of their initial deal, and any further seasons would have to be on Netflix, but you get the point that I'm making. This first look deal also gives Archewell Productions a competitive edge since they have already proven that their marketability and global fan base translates to views and sales. Hello as ever. This also doesn't tie them in to just one streamer or studio, and this gives them the option to build their network and possibly even produce more content in a shorter amount of time, as this could enable them to create several projects at once. So there are a lot of other advantages, but those are the things that popped out at me because it's only been 5 years and they have produced a ton of content, and there's still more rolling out from the initial deal, and they're about to gear up to go into this second deal in September. So I expect even more to go on. Either way, Harry and Meghan have both individually and together proven themselves to be very savvy business people. So I expect whatever deals they go into, whether that's with Netflix or anyone else, it's going to have huge advantages for them because they know what they bring to the table. They are also very competent people, and they're not just one-trick ponies. They do it all. Podcasts, shows, docuseries, movies. They can do anything they decide to go into. And with Meghan having an extensive career in the entertainment industry as an actress, she knows her value, knows her worth, but she also knows the industry. So there's a lot for them to leverage. Netflix has also confirmed several times over that they fully understand Harry and Meghan's marketability, and they will never undercut that. So if you're looking for them to end their relationship with Netflix, it's not going to be anytime soon. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not. I'd also like to point out, the closer we get to this deal beginning in September, the more information and little details about what projects they might be producing under this new deal are going to come out. That's just kind of how it's worked so far. We knew about Meet Me at the Lake over a year ago, and it's still not out yet, but as we've gotten closer and closer to it being released or even created, we've gotten more and more information here and there. But here's the thing. I'm happy to know what they want us to know. I'm happy to share what they release, but I'm not really in a rush to know things prematurely. I I enjoy their process so far. And it's the same thing I say about Beyonce, how everyone is trying to guess what Act 3 is. It's interesting to hear people's perspective, but I honestly don't want a leak. I don't want to know things early. I don't want to know things prematurely. I cannot stand when information leaks about something that people have worked really hard on. And it's not just the content or the project that these creators are working on, it's the rollout too. The marketing of it is part of the project, and a lot goes into that, a lot of money, but also a lot of creativity. So much time and consideration goes into how these things are revealed to their audience, and it's all done with care. I don't like to undercut that, but I also like to have the experience they want me to have. It's all very intentional, and why wouldn't I want to have the very best experience possible? So I actually don't like leaks. I don't like to know things prematurely. If Harry and Meghan want to give us more details about what's going to happen under this new deal as these projects get greenlit, great. But if they don't, great, because everything they've put out so far, I know I've enjoyed that. So I know whatever's coming, I'm going to enjoy that as well. I don't need to have a heads up. I just want to experience it in the way that they reveal it. So if you have any leaks, and this is just to everybody, because sometimes people do share things like, hey, I know someone who said this, if you want to talk about it on your channel. No, I will never talk about information prematurely. I will never talk about anything that's leaked, any kind of hearsay or rumors of what might be to come. I'm just not interested. For example, Meet Me at the Lake. We had a few details about Meet Me at the Lake over a year ago, but we have not gotten much more than that. We are aware that it's coming, but we don't know much, which is fun because once we get it, it's a whole new experience. I like it like that. And so whatever comes from this new deal, I fully trust that it's going to be amazing because every single project that has come out so far has been incredible. And I've recapped all of it. So feel free to check out my Royal Review playlist if you want to see my recaps of all of Harry and Meghan's projects, even Meghan's movies before she was married to Harry. So I recapped everything. I'm still in the process of watching Suits. I'm on my second rewatch because I watched it the first time and I binged, and then I came back and realized I missed a lot of little small details that make the storylines make a little bit more sense as they flesh out throughout the season. So I'm now on my second rewatch, but I will be doing a season by season recap for my Royal Reviews playlist very soon, probably early next year. Anyway, that's all we have right now about the new first look deal from Netflix and Archewell Productions. I'm excited. I knew that they were going to do something together. Netflix has not stopped telling us how much they love Harry and Meghan since they started working together. I don't know why people took that narrative that, oh, Netflix is dropping Harry and Meghan and ran with it. It was so weird. And as someone who's averse to looking silly, like myself, I don't get that. Now, here's the thing. I've been wrong about things, but very rarely have I been loud and wrong. If I'm assuming something, I will say, this is an assumption, but I have nothing to back this up. I will let you know where I'm coming from. I never want to mislead. But what I will say is the things that I say with my chest, the things that I say with my feet dug in the ground, like this is true, it comes from a valid or reputable or verified source, which is almost always Harry and Meghan, or it'll be their spokesperson. What I wouldn't do is take a headline or a source, or hold on, let me get it right. A Hollywood insider take their word and be like, hey, you know all about this deal, yet you don't know Harry and Meghan. How can that be? And I know you wouldn't leak this if you were with Netflix because you would be undercutting your own client. That would be silly. You wouldn't want to do that if you work for Netflix. So I knew it didn't come from anyone on the inside for real. It probably came from a barista or a person that was sweeping up outside or a valet. It could be, and none of those jobs are bad. It's just you're not in the rooms when those deals are being negotiated. So you wouldn't know. Anyway, I said it then, and it's on that podcast episode a couple of weeks ago. This is ridiculous for people to be running with this rumor. People genuinely do not have an aversion to sounding silly. I don't get that. Now, I will come back and tell you like, oh, y'all, I got that completely wrong. But, we talked about As Ever before we knew it was As Ever, before it had a name. We talked about the fact that Meghan's new company was likely going to produce wine because of some of the licenses and patents that had gone out, but also because of Meghan's history with wine. We talked about it being a possibility, but at no point before we had information did we say Meghan's definitely doing wine and this is what it's going to be. We were cautious, but we were just having dialogue. That's a very different thing than people saying, I know for a fact she's going to have wine because of the tit. Unless Meghan called you, I probably wouldn't go out on a limb and say that because not only are you misleading your own audience, you make yourself look silly if that weren't to come into fruition. Thankfully, it did. And so whoever made that assumption, you were right. this time. I just think it's best to operate with integrity and as honest and make honesty your policy. If you don't know something to be true for sure, say that. Say, hey, this is something that I think might happen. Here's the clues, but I don't know. Just be honest. But these Hollywood insiders, I'm going to tell you, when you start believing them, that's how you know those people don't have real sources. They're not really they don't have a network that's producing any information for them, and they are desperate, very desperate, because no Hollywood insider who had a real inside look at their contract, which is very few people, not even everyone at Netflix knows what's in Harry and Meghan's contract. But and I said, not everyone. There are 1,000,001 positions in Netflix, but not everyone even knows what's in Harry and Meghan's contract. So if you were one of the very exclusive people who were working on that deal with them, you wouldn't have ruined the deal and undercut your own company by leaking anything. That gives Harry and Meghan and Archewell Productions a bigger power position over Netflix if that information were to leak anyway, because then they could take that information and possibly negotiate elsewhere if that comes out. Also, and let me just be very, very clear, before negotiations even start, do y'all not realize NDAs exist? If you reveal information as a quote insider, if you reveal real information, they're going to figure out it was you, because there are very few people who are part of those deals to begin with. And they're very intentional about who has what part of the deal and who knows what about what part of the contract. So depending on what leaks, they can usually pinpoint down to the minute when it leaked and from whom. You're getting sued. No one worth their weight in gold, no one worth their salary and benefits is going to leak anything for a $10 Starbucks card from The Hollywood Reporter. It's just not happening. So that information that comes from insiders and sources and stuff, not only is it nonsense, but it's so ridiculous that in that industry, they're risking not only their career, but whatever's in their bank account and then some if they leak that. No one is willing to do that for a pat on the back from a gossip blogger. I promise you. That's why I always say, ignore them. Not just that, but Harry and Meghan themselves have said, what we want you to know, we'll share. As of today, that has been 100% true, which is why we're discussing this, because they told us. So anyway, that's just my long-winded way of saying, I could have told y'all that Netflix was going to give them a new deal. I feel like that was a given, considering how much they have not stopped openly praising Harry and Meghan and their hard work and all of the really great things that they brought to the streamer. I could have told you if they didn't do a deal with Netflix, it's because they got something better elsewhere. But they're so entwined. I could have promised you that wasn't the end of their relationship, especially since they just went into business with Meghan for as ever. That would have been silly. Anyway, again, I don't think I'm talking to my audience when I talk about these assumptions that were made and the people running with those narratives. I know for a fact I'm not talking to the people who watch my channel, because y'all have common sense. But anyway, but for those who were really holding their fingers crossed and praying, please let this be the year Harry and Meghan experience their downfall, I'm so happy you were proven wrong yet again. If I were you, I would have been tired of losing by now, and I would just get with the winning team. Like Nene Leakes said, get with the winning team. But you know what? Sometimes you cannot save people until they're ready to save themselves. When you're tired of being a hater and being wrong, then make your way on over. Now, nobody's going to commune with you because you've been a hater, but at least you won't be wrong. And there's a benefit to that. But anyway, keep hating, enjoy your life. So that's all I have for y'all today. It was really great to get this information, waking up first thing today and finding out, oh, we've got deeds on what's next. But what I am most excited about is this holiday special for With Love. Oh my goodness. This is so on brand, but seeing how With Love season 1, and of course we're about to get season 2, seeing how well and how perfectly curated each episode of With Love this season 1 was. I'm not only excited for season 2, but I cannot wait to see how Harry and Meghan celebrate Christmas, or what is actually going to be involved in the holiday episode. I'm sure there's going to be acknowledgement to all the different ways you can celebrate the holiday season and all the different religions that go into that. But one thing that I'm excited about is seeing their tree, seeing the decor, like seeing how she weaves holiday into what With Love has already shown itself to be. Food, fun, friends, drinks. There's so much that could possibly be shown, and it's so perfect for the holiday season. That's the kind of content I like to have, especially around the holidays. I like for my house to be like really light and fun and energetic, but I always like it to be in theme. Husband and I have a whole December movie playlist. Every day of December, we have a different movie that we watch that's holiday related, because we like for it to be very in theme and seasonal. So we're definitely going to be watching With Love, the holiday is it a bonus episode? It's a special, so the holiday special, but I'm so excited for that, y'all. Anyway, that's all I have for y'all today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm excited to hear your thoughts in the comment section below, so don't forget to share them. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. And for those of you who have been watching my Chats and Chill channel and watching my movie reviews, we've been having fun. We just did You, Me, and Dupree, and that movie had me on the floor. I laughed the whole movie. So if you're interested in that recap, feel free to go check that out. That's all I have. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.